Welcome back to Her Name Was Mine. This is episode A Force to Be Reckoned With. This episode is deeply personal. It is about discovering the moments that shaped my voice, challenged my strength, and solidified my identity. It is about moving from silence to significance, from fear to faith, and from being overlooked to owning every part of who I am. If you have ever been afraid to speak up, if you have ever questioned your worth, or wondered if you were enough, I want to remind you that you are more than enough. Let me share with you how I became a force to be reckoned with. There are times in our lives when we discover that our voice carries more weight than we could ever imagine. When people sit up and listen without even knowing who you are. For me, that first moment came at my high school graduation. I was nominated to speak. To this day, I still do not know who put my name in, but I believe it was one of my teachers. I prepared my speech, practiced with my English teacher, and when the moment came, I stepped on stage. I remember seeing the boy I had a crush on smiling at me from the audience. I remember my family watching proudly. I had always been quiet, never made a fuss. Most people didn't even know my name until I spoke that night. But after my speech, when I went to school the next day, students I had never met came up to me to say how much they enjoyed it. That's when I knew my voice could move people. It mattered. There was another time I was chosen to be on a panel discussing apartheid in Africa. I was nervous. After all, I asked myself, what did I have to contribute to the conversation? But then I looked out. A student in the audience asked me a question. And without even thinking, I answered. I was shocked. Not just by my answer, but by the fact that someone actually listened to what I had to say. That moment reminded me again that your voice does not have to be the loudest in the room to be powerful. It just has to be true. And that truth, when spoken from a place of authenticity, invites others to lean in. That moment was not just about me. It was a reminder for anyone who has ever doubted themselves that your voice has value, even when you feel invisible. When you speak from your heart, trust me, the world listens. Later in life, I stood up for myself again. I had applied for a managerial position at work twice, and twice I was passed over for someone with less experience. So I decided to write a letter to the CEO of the company. No one else knew. I did not complain. I just told the truth about what I observed within the company. HR reached out. So did my department head. I was not promoted, but my voice made its way through the system. And that's when I realized I was a force, not because I got what I wanted, but because I stood up and did not shrink. Your voice has more power than you realize. You use it to change the environment around you, lives begin to shift. People start taking notice of the person who felt she had no voice. I have faced resistance. I have not always been a bold person. I used to actually be afraid to speak up, to say what I really felt. But over the years, I have learned that silence does not serve anyone. There was a manager once who spoke harshly to my coworkers. I tried to take it up with her supervisor, but the problem is they were close friends. Eventually, I brought it to leadership. And you know what I learned? When you speak up for what's right, others will stand with you. That's when the weakness I once carried became my strength. That's when I realized my voice carried power. Not because of how loud I was, but because of how honest I chose to be. What I learned through being resisted is that even when others doubt you, God is still standing with you. He is the only one who knows your end from your beginning. When others around you doubt the calling on your life or the gift God has placed in you, just know that God will prove them wrong every single time. Resistance may shake your confidence, but it strengthens your foundation. Sometimes the resistance has not come from outsiders, but from those closest to me. My family didn't always understand my calling, especially when God called me to minister in places they considered dangerous. But I had to choose obedience over fear. If God calls me somewhere, I believe He will protect me there also. The boldest decision I made, the one that changed my life, was moving to Maryland. It was my first time living on my own, providing for myself. That move set the stage for Arizona, for ministry, for purpose. If I had stayed in New Jersey, I don't know who I would have become. But I know I wouldn't be her, the woman I am now. Have you ever had to push past fear to follow your calling? My faith is my fuel. I have known God since I was a child. I loved Sunday school, loved scriptures. I couldn't wait to go back each week and share what I had memorized. I would even sit my cousins down and pretend I was preaching the word to them. I had no idea then that God was already planting seeds, preparing me to carry His word, not just in play, but also in purpose. Through every trial, every disappointment, God has always been there. Sometimes, yes, I have doubted His voice, if I am being honest, and also His love. I have wondered if He heard me, but I have come to trust that His love is not like the love of another human. It does not leave. It does not abandon. It is patient and it waits. When my ministry began, friends would ask me to speak to pastors in another country. I was anxious. Who was I to pour into seasoned leaders? But each time God showed up, He never failed me. I once prayed that he would open the nations to me, and he did. Not on my timeline, not in the way I expected, but in his perfect way. And for that, I am truly grateful. So now I am owning my identity. And what does it mean to be a force to be reckoned with? It means I no longer shrink back. I no longer apologize for who I am or what I carry. It means I know that if God is for me, truly, who can be against me? That little girl I used to be, she would cry tears of joy if she could see me now. She would say, "No, life didn't go the way we imagined, but look at you now. Look at what God has done." I still have moments of doubt. I still feel the tide rise some days. But I hold on to the same God who has brought me this far. I am no longer afraid to take risks. I am no longer playing small. I have lived for others, sacrificed myself to fit in. But now I am done with that. I am making a promise to myself to choose me, not sometimes, but always. Make it a promise to choose you. You are your biggest cheerleader. No one else can honor your voice the way you can. But just know that God has given you that voice to use it as He directs and leads you. Your voice can shape the world. It speaks life, truth, purpose, and healing into the atmosphere. When God breathes through your words, mountains move, hearts soften, and lives transform. In this episode, I shared the moments that made me, the quiet stages, the overlooked opportunities, the whispered prayers, all leading to this truth. I am a force to be reckoned with. You are too. Not because life has been easy, but because you did not let it stop you. Because you have kept moving, kept trusting, kept showing up. Take your space, walk in your truth, and never forget the woman you are becoming. She is unstoppable. This week, I want you to reflect on your journey. What's one moment where you surprised yourself with your strength? Write it down, say it out loud, and if it feels right, share it with me. Use the hashtag, "Her name was mine," or send me a DM. I want to hear how you are rising. You are not invisible. You are powerful. And your story, oh sister, it is unfolded.